In the midst of continued chemotherapy treatments and medication regimens, Stuart took to the gym to treat his body and his spirit through mixed martial arts and cross-training workouts. It was physical as well as symbolic, his way of continuing the battle. Through it all, he kept to working, exhausted but unyielding.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Of course, the passing of ESPN veteran anchor Stuart Scott. Joining us now is Jared Max, WCBS 880 sportscaster. And of course, Jared, you broke the news yesterday on News Radio 88 of the passing of Stuart Scott.
Steve, I think I might have cried a little bit as I reported it. I sat at my desk and wiped away and fought tears for about 20 minutes before the broadcast came on. And I think it's just a sense of losing one within our community. I kept asking, why was I so affected? You know, I spent some time at ESPN, but I never got to know Stuart. I certainly know the effect that he had on others, but we think in terms of a couple of weeks ago, we saw an outpouring of police support from all around the country that poured into Brooklyn on one day. And if you're not a police officer, you might look and say, wow, that's really impressive the way they all came together. I understood that yesterday because I was so affected by the loss of Stuart Scott. 49 years old, this is somebody who really was a trailblazer, somebody who stuck to his guns and said, this is who I am, and this is the way I'm going to portray sportscasting. And he kept it fun and energetic. And boy, if you watched any ESPN yesterday, the tears were overflowing.
Right. No, and I know you're not. I know you're not making a true analogy between the assassination of the officers and. But I understand what you're saying. I never met him either, and just to see how he loved his daughters and how he said, "I can't die because I can't leave my daughters." I mean, you know, that's the kind of person he was. Let's move on, Jared, and let's talk a little bit about the NFL games that we saw over the weekend. And I want to start yesterday, then we'll get to Saturday, because you make a very good point that I want people to hear. But I want everybody to take a look at, from the Detroit Lions-Dallas Cowboy game yesterday, this play, and a flag was thrown on this play, and it was pass interference was called. Here we go. Let's watch.
That both coaches referred to after the game. Was it not a pass interference? They picked up the flag.
This is generally a foul because you're not playing the ball.
Now that is not only was he not playing the ball, but he pushed him with his back to the play. I mean, that's typical. When I used to play it in the street, kill the volume on that. When I used to play it in the street, touch football, if you didn't play the ball, if you just had your back to the play, it was pass interference. Then they just picked up the flag and went about their business as if there was never a flag. It wasn't pass interference. If I'm a Lions fan, I know they had their chances to win. I know it might not have directly affected the outcome of the game, but with no explanation, how is that allowed to stand?
Steve, because the NFL is entertainment and it's just a game. And I think that's where I'm thinking about perspective on this day. Because unless you're a Detroit Lions fan, you don't really, how does this affect you? Unless you lost a lot of money gambling. I've been thinking if there was widespread legalized gambling that a lot of folks are pushing for, certainly the New Jersey governor. If there was, I wonder if there might be more accountability in pro sports for matters like this. Because in the end, go scratch. What does it matter? Fans in Detroit know all about getting hosed by the refs. Think about pitcher Armando Galarraga, who threw a perfect game. Everybody knew it was a perfect game. They made the wrong call. They said it was the wrong call. Everybody who watched this yesterday knew there should have been pass interference. What are you going to do? Who are you going to complain to?
All right, before we get to the Pittsburgh game, let's go quickly to the Chris Christie. To me, this is so you know, if Chris Christie is a Dallas Cowboys fan, he just looks so awkward. Could we show the picture or run the video of Christie sitting there with the owner Jerry Jones? It's just ridiculous.
Look, it might look odd, I think, to see a guy who's the governor of the state of New Jersey celebrating as if he's the
Go ahead.
You know, celebrating as if he's the governor of Texas. But whatever. Look, I mean, he's a sports fan. Not for nothing, Steve. If our president can weigh in on just about every single sports story that's going on, I have no problem with our governor celebrating his NFL fandom.
Well, I heard today that if he says he's going to Green Bay, if he really wants to be a Cowboys fan, let him get a regular seat and sit in the freezing cold at Green Bay and not in the owner's box. If he's a true fan, that's where he'll sit. Now listen, what you wanted to talk about was how the NFL broke their protocol with concussions in the Pittsburgh game. Once we got with Roethlisberger, we're out of time, unfortunately. But I know that you'll be tweeting it and writing. Give people how they can read you and follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, just go to Google me, Jared Max CBS. And I will definitely be writing about this for a column tomorrow. And the NFL to me is a fraud because don't pretend to care about your players. They were exposed on Saturday night.
Gotcha. Jared Max, thank you, sir. Susan Farici, Washington Examiner is next. Don't go away.